Yo, listen up, Rue is stepping up the game, where fantasy Premier League runs in his veins. From transfers to captains, he's always on top, guiding you through every game week non-stop. They say Rue got that Salah flow. Welcome to the channel, enjoy the show. Wild cards, free hits with so much vibe. If you're hunting for success, then make sure you subscribe.
Good day, mate. Welcome back to the channel. I'm FPL Rue and welcome back to another FPL video. So in today's video, I'm going to be rating your drafts. So I put out a post on X a few days ago and over 150 of you replied with your drafts. And I've done a video and I've reviewed and I've rated most of the non-Haaland drafts. So definitely go check out the video if you are more interested in a non-Haaland draft. If you're interested in the Haaland draft, then this is the video for you. These are the teams you can build. These are the teams that you've submitted, and I'll be honestly rating them. There's going to be no sugarcoating around here, and I'm going to give you my honest rating of the teams. We'll start off with 3-4-3 with Haaland, no Salah draft. So I've broken this up to drafts with Haaland and Salah and without Haaland and Salah. But first of all, we're going to talk about without Salah. So the team on the left, I've got two teams here. Thank you so much for your submissions. So Jose Sarr, Gavardio, Mialenko, Muniz, and then Gordon, Palmer, Nkunku, and Eze in midfield. Up front, Watkins, Haaland, Mateta. Bench is pretty solid as well. You've got Euro, the new Man United defender in there. We've got Wout Faes as well from Leicester. But let's not focus too much on the bench because it's not the best. But if I was looking at the team, Jose Sarr, to be honest, I don't really want to start the season with Arsenal away. I don't think it's the, best place to start. I think there are goalkeepers out there that you can probably get around the same price point and have better fixtures to start. So for me, you're starting off on the wrong foot there. So I'd probably get rid of Jose Sarr. Gavardio, Mialenko, and Muniz, I think are good solid picks. We've also got two defenders on the bench that are pretty solid as well. So yeah, I'm really happy with the midfield you've picked. I think it is really strong. The midfield, again, Gordon, Palmer, and Nkunku, very, very strong. The only thing that I'd say is you are kind of a bit weak for that fifth midfielder. Yarmouk, I think his name is, for Southampton. I don't really trust that. And with Nkunku, I'm not really trusting that as the option to be a fourth and fifth midfielder. I think if you're going to go for Nkunku, go for someone else that is a bit more well known and will deliver a half decent FPL returns. And then up front you've got Watkins, Haaland, and Mateta. Again, I can't argue with that. You have gone for free Palace, which, don't get me wrong, Palace are a decent side, and you might be a Palace fan, so if you are, please ignore this. But for me, I think it's a little bit of overkill just to start the season with free Palace. I know their fixtures are okay, but yeah, for me, I think it's a little bit too much. And I'm pretty sure Palace do have a tough game very, very soon. So after the season starts, yes, the fixtures are okay, but I think pretty early on they play Liverpool, if I'm not mistaken, maybe around game week 2. Overall, though, I think this is a solid team. I just will probably work on the goalkeeper and maybe get in a fifth midfielder that is a little bit more solid because of that Nkunku pick. Next up, we've got the team on the right. So we've got Sales in goal, Konza, Gabriel, Mialenko in defence. Again, a strong defence. Midfield, Eze, Gordon, Johnson and Hudson-Odoi. Haaland, Watkins and Isak up front with a bench, which is, I think, the key thing for this team, is the bench is very, very strong. So Fabianski, Leon Bailey, Colwell and Gavardio. So a very, very strong bench. For me, probably too strong, to be totally honest with you. I think you can probably downgrade maybe a Gavardio for another defender and just save a bit of money, and then maybe upgrade someone like Brennan Johnson. The rest of the midfielders I actually really like. I like Bailey pick, and now that Diaby's gone as well from Aston Villa, I think he's an even better pick. I like Hudson-Odoi, I like Eze, I like Gordon. I'm just not sure on Brennan Johnson. So for me with this team, I'd probably try and downgrade Gavardio and go for someone a bit better than Johnson. Maybe even try and afford Maddison or even someone else around that sort of price point, a Jared Bowen, etc. Overall, I do think these are both strong teams, but you can tell that With, I guess, the Haaland money, you are limited in certain spots. On the left, the bench is limited. On the right, you're having to kind of play Brennan Johnson. But overall, I'd probably give it to the one on the right. I'd say that is the better team. For me, I'd give that an 88, and I'd give the one on the left 84. Both solid teams, but I just think the one on the left, I don't like the goalkeeper pick, to be honest with you, and I think the bench is too weak. Anyway, let's get on to the next teams. So next up, we've got a 4-4-2 with Haaland, no Salah draft. So an odd formation that we don't really see a lot, but potentially with the amount you're spending on Haaland, this might be the best formation, so we'll get into it. Martinez in goal, very, very strong. Happy with that pick. Burn, Van de Ven, Martinez, and Alexander-Arnold. So you've gone for 2 Martinez, which is interesting. And then Gavardio on the bench as well. So really, really strong defence. You could argue that all players could warrant starting most weeks. Newcastle strong defence. Van de Ven, probably not the best defence, but Spurs are going to probably have a good season this year, I hope. Man United are normally okay defensively. And then Alexander-Arnold, you're going to want to play every week. For me, it's probably a little bit too strong. I'll probably try and downgrade one of them just to free up a bit of money to upgrade other positions. In midfield, Palmer, Eze, McAllister and Hudson-Odoi. And then up front, you've got Haaland and Watkins. On the bench, you've got Rodgers and Armstrong with Sanchez. For me, I don't mind this team. I just think the defence is probably too strong, and you can probably upgrade McAllister, which I think you probably need to. You obviously trying to put in a Liverpool player because they've got good fixtures, but for me, I think you can probably downgrade Van de Ven and find the money to maybe even have a better Liverpool midfielder, because Liverpool have some decent ones around the 7.5 million mark. Again, I'm not sure you're going to be able to afford any of them with McAllister's money. McAllister's 6.5, but I think if you drop someone like Van de Ven and then maybe upgrade McAllister to maybe a Luis Diaz or a Gakpo or someone like that, then potentially, I think Gakpo's a forward now, but definitely Luis Diaz, then I think that you'd be better suited doing that. I put your team into Fantasy Football Hub's AI team rater, and it's come out as an 86, and I definitely agree, to be honest. They've basically kept the same formation as you for game week 1, but they've decided to start Gavardio instead of Martinez, which I think is fair enough. I know Martinez has the better fixture, but I think Gavardio is more attacking, to be honest with you. In midfield, they started the same, and up front, they started the same. So 86 rating for that and 81 for game week rating. For me, I kind of agree with the 86%. I think it is a solid team, but I just think McAllister and the heaviness on the defence is probably too much. If you did want to get your team rated by AI, scan the QR code on the screen. It's completely free. You can get a free team rating by AI, something like this, and then they kind of recommend transfers for you and stuff like that if you do end up proceeding. But the team rating is completely free. Check the link to the description as well, because you'll be able to access it there. All you do is upload a screenshot, just like one on the screen, and then you get your team rated. Let's get on to the next teams. So now we've got the 3-5-2 with Haaland, no Salah drafts. Start off with the one on the left. So Flecken, Alexander-Arnold, Van de Ven and Maatsen, the new Aston Villa fullback. And Kunku, Gordon, Eze, Diego Jota and Hudson-Odoi midfield, a very, very strong midfield. And then up front, you've got Haaland and Isak. On the bench, you've got Wall, João Pedro, Muniz and Castagna. So again, a really, really strong bench. And for me, a really, really well-balanced team. I actually really do like this team. Again, I think you can downgrade on Van de Ven and maybe try and upgrade and Kunku, but I don't hate it at all, to be honest with you. João Pedro's on your bench as well. I'll probably maybe wait for more information on him, as he didn't travel with Brighton for their pre-season friendlies. So definitely keep an eye on him. The team on the right, you've got David Raya, Diego Dalot, Mialenko, Alexander-Arnold. So again, a strong defence. You could argue that the one on the right is probably a bit better because you've got that Arsenal cover. Midfield, you've got Rodgers, Palmer, Foden, Eze and Odegaard. Really, really solid midfield. And then up front, you've got João Pedro, Haaland. So this manager has decided to, I guess, go stronger on their 11. And to be honest, I don't hate it at all. I just think it's probably in the wrong spots. For me, I would have Isak instead of João Pedro, and then maybe downgrade someone like Odegaard, or even, probably just downgrade someone like Odegaard and save money that way. And I'd also probably go for maybe a cheaper goalkeeper and then have an Arsenal defender maybe instead of Miolenko or Dalot, just to, I guess, bring the money down a bit. But other than that, I do like this team. But for me, I think I have to give it. I probably prefer the team on the left. To be honest, I think the overall squad's better, and the money's not, I guess, wasted on the 11. But at the same time, I don't want a strong bench. But I think with this bench, you got players that are attacking. They're not too expensive. Potentially, they could start some games. But at the same time, I would probably take out Van der Ven and maybe upgrade one of the starting positions. So I'd have to give it to the team on the left. I'd probably give it an 89% rating, and the team on the right an 88, because I think the team on the right is still solid. I just think you can probably rework that coverage of the Arsenal defence and midfield to mean that you still get coverage, but you're paying less, if that makes sense. So you're still going to get an Arsenal defensive cover, but you're going to be paying less because you're getting a 4.5 million goalkeeper, and then maybe an Arsenal defender that's around 5.5 million, rather than a Diego Dalot and Miolenko, who's 5 million. But let me know what you think in the comment section below, and we'll get on to the next part of the video, which we're going to talk about with Haaland and with Salah drafts. So sometimes I do like to put opposite teams on the screen, but this time I've gone for similar teams just to talk about the slight differences. So we'll start off with the team on the left. We've got Miguel in goal. I'm not too sure I like the sound of Forest goalkeeper, and to be honest, I don't think they're going to play, to be honest with you. So definitely keep an eye on that. I think Sales has the spot for Forest, but yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Then you've got Martinez, Miolenko, Burn, and then we'll move over to the other team and do like a comparison now. So they've got Sanchez. So I definitely prefer Sanchez. I know game week 1 is not the best, but I think if you can get a Chelsea goalkeeper for 4.5 million, I think we should take it. Muniz, Alexander-Arnold and Miolenko. So Miolenko rules each other out. So really it's Muniz, Alexander-Arnold versus Martinez and Burn. Obviously you'd say the one on the right is the best, but we'll move on to the midfield to see if that has actually caused a bit of, I guess, cutting from other positions in order to afford Trent. Midfield, you've got Gordon, Salah, Hudson-Odoi and Son for the team on the left, so very, very strong in midfield. And then on the right, you've got Gordon, Eze, Semenyo and Salah. So Gordon and Salah are both the same, so really it's Hudson-Odoi, Son versus Semenyo and Eze. For me, I think I'd prefer the Hudson-Odoi Son one. I just think they've got more attacking threat, whereas maybe Eze and Semenyo a bit more of creativity, a bit more assist, and then obviously you've got Trent in there as well. So yeah, it's tough to balance. But we'll move on to the midfield, to the forwards, which they are both the same: Haaland, Wood and Isaac. So really, the only differences in this team are Trent, Eze, Semenyo versus Hudson-Odoi, Son, and kind of Miolenko, I'd say. It is a tough call because obviously you do get Trent, but you do lose the creativity on the left. On the benches, I'd probably say the team on the right had a slightly better bench. I think Robertson from Fulham is a very good option to go for, and I've actually got him in my first draft, which will be coming out later on this week. But for me, it is a tough one, to be honest. I think I'd have to give it to the team on the left, to be honest. On the left slightly. I think they're both really good, but I think the team on the left slightly. I'd say 88 for the team on the left and maybe 87 for the team on the right. I think the fact that on the left you can downgrade Son if you need to, and kind of upgrade elsewhere, whereas on the right I think you're kind of stuck with Trent if you're bringing him in this early. I know the fixtures are good, But I think you're relying on players from teams lower down the division, to be honest. Whereas the team on the left, you've got Son, who 9 times out of 10, you know, is taking the penalties for Spurs. You know, he's going to be one of their key players. And for me, that's kind of valuable at this stage of the season. You can always change that as the fixtures play out. But team on the right, I think you're pretty much locked with most of them players. Eze, you can maybe go to someone else, maybe upgrade to a 7.5 million midfielder or downgrade to a 6.5 million in Nkunku or something like that. But you're kind of locked. And I really don't like Trent as a pick, to be honest. I think it's too much money for a defender. I know he acts like a midfielder, so really you're playing 2-6-3. But for me, I just think at the point of this game, I think there's better midfielders for that price point, and I just don't know if Trent is going to perform because he hasn't done it without Klopp ever. So for me, that's why I'm going for the team on the left. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section below, and we'll move on to the next couple drafts. So now we've got a 3-5-2 with Haaland, with Salah draft. So probably, I guess, the draft that is most suited to Haaland and Salah teams. I think the fact that you're spending so much on Haaland that you shouldn't really be getting another 2 forwards that are decent. I think there's better value midfielders out there, to be totally honest with you. But we'll have a look at this draft. So it's Sanchez, Dan Burn, Anderson, Konza, and then a midfield of Gordon and Nkunku, Salah, Gibbs-White, Eze, and then Haaland and Isak. On the bench, you got Turner, Wood, Miolenko, and Harwood Bells. A very, very strong team, to be honest. And then you've got Wood on the bench as well, like I said, who could even push for a start. I think that's one of the key things for me, though, talking about that. I think the fact that Wood's there and potentially could start means that you have the opportunity to maybe downgrade Nkunku, start Wood, save some money, and then have that money kind of in the bank or upgrade another position, to be honest with you. Maybe even upgrade Gibbs-White. And then play Wood instead, or even downgrade Wood, upgrade Nkunku. But overall, I actually really like this team. It's kind of similar to my first draft, which I said will be dropping very soon. But I did end up putting it in the AI team rater from Fantasy Football Hub. They did give it an 86 rating for the team and 85 for the game week. Obviously, they decided to switch up the formation though, so it's gone for 3-4-3, which is what I've kind of suggested as well, and decided to start Miolenko instead of Konza, which I kind of agree with because he is more attacking. Midfield, they decided to drop actually Nkunku. I think that's mainly because we haven't really seen much of Nkunku. He's played, 4 Premier League games and obviously scored a couple goals in that, but we haven't seen him for a prolonged period of time. So that's why they decided to drop him and play Chris Wood. And I kind of agree, to be honest with you. That does bump it up to, like I said, 86% rating, which is decent, and to be honest, can only get better. And I think it can get better because if you look at the bench on the AI team rating screenshot, you can definitely downgrade Nkunku and upgrade someone like Gibbs-White, who is only projected 4.4 points. Definitely, you could upgrade to maybe a 6.5, 7.5 million midfielder, and then maybe downgrade Nkunku to a 5 million, 4 million midfielder. So that's the way I'd go with this team. Obviously, you see Anderson there on projected points of 3, and even Sanchez projected points of 0. I think that's just because of the uncertainty around Chelsea's defence, but that will definitely go up and probably bump the AI team rating up to 89, 90. But let me know what you think in the comment sections below. Do you agree with the AI team rating? And if you did want to get your team rated by AI, scan the QR code, links in the description as well. Yeah, it's completely free, so you might as well do it. And let's move on to the next teams. So here's something we don't see a lot, 4-4-2 with Haaland, with Salah draft. Interesting drafts, I'd say. We'll start off with the one on the left. So we've got Areola, solid. And funny enough, the team on the right has got Fabianski, so a bit of debate there who's actually going to start. Then you've got Gahey, Outnori, Robertson and Borco in defence. A really solid, cheap defence there. Midfield, you've got Bowen, Gordon, Saka and Salah. Up front, you've got Isak and Haaland. So bench is pretty much non-existent for that team on the left. A solid team, obviously Gordon and Bowen, and strong midfield to Saka and Salah. And I haven't really seen a lot of teams with Saka in their squad, so that is definitely something a bit different, and I kind of like it. And I really do like the budget defenders. The only problem with that is you're gonna have to guess when they're gonna get clean sheets, which sometimes is very, very difficult. But I do like the fact that you can probably play 3 out of the 4 that you've got there starting most game weeks. But for me, I think the weak bench just puts that off a little bit. I'd probably try and downgrade someone from your midfield, maybe even a Jared Bowen to a Kudus if you wanted to cover that West Ham attack, and maybe upgrade, I'd say, one of the bench options, or upgrade one of your starters, maybe a Barco, because he's probably only going to play for about 3 game weeks until Estupiñán is back, so maybe upgrade him. But other than that, I actually really like this team. I would never play 4-4-2, to be totally honest with you, unless you've got Trent in there and you could actually say he's a midfielder in your head. But yeah, for me, I wouldn't play that formation. But I do like the midfield. It's very, very strong. I just probably upgrade one of the defenders to make sure you have like a solid starting back 3. Or sorry, I'd downgrade one of the defenders and then upgrade one of the, I guess, mids or forwards on the bench. Team on the right: Fabianski, Gavardio, Barco, Alexander-Arnold, Mialenko, Eze, Salah, Rodgers and Hudson-Odoi. Up front, Isak and Haaland the same. So a bit weaker, obviously, in midfield, but he does have Alexander-Arnold, this person. I think it's Tyler on there. So Tyler's gone for a strong defence with Gavardio and Alexander-Arnold, but it has shown in the midfield that it's looking a bit weak, to be honest with you. Rodgers, I know everyone's banging on about him, but people were banging on about Nicholas Jackson last season, and yeah, what did he do at the start? Nothing. So for me, I'm not sold on Rodgers. Hudson-Odoi I do really like, but not 2 of them, if you know what I mean. Not 2 cheap midfielders. I think you probably need to downgrade Gavardio or Alexander-Arnold, because you've got solid midfielders on the bench that you can definitely play. For me, I just think the bench is too strong, to be honest with you. I think you can probably downgrade a Gavardio or an Nkunku and upgrade a Rodgers, and then that way you've got your starting 11, and maybe you got one bench player that can come in and out. I think the bench is just a little bit too strong. I think Hudson-Odoi on your bench or Rodgers on your bench, fair enough. But the fact that you've got Nkunku on your bench who's 6.5 million, you can get a full starting Premier League proven goal scoring, assisting midfielder for that price, to be honest with you. So that's what I'd do there. But other than that, I do like the team. Out of these 2, I'd probably go for one on the right, just because I think it has a little bit more quality. I know the midfield is not as good as one on the left, but having that strong Alexander-Arnold and Gavardio, personally I'd downgrade one of them, probably Gavardio, and upgrade a midfield spot, but I definitely think that's doable. I'd probably give the one on the right 87, one on the left 86, so very, very close. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I'll catch you in the next video, and smash the like button, please. Thanks.